Donald Trump is having a catastrophic morning and he's spiraling out of control. The first thing that happened is the House officially transmitted the resolution to release the Epstein files. That's right, MAGA Mike caved. It was transmitted to the United States Senate. The Senate previously voted via unanimous consent to release the Epstein files. So the resolution to release the files is now sitting on Donald Trump's desk. The second massive thing that happened, we learned that Donald Trump's handpicked former lawyer turned federal prosecutor in the Comey and Letitia James case, Lindsey Halligan, never presented the indictment that was ultimately signed by the grand jury to the grand jury. She made an error on the first indictment and the grand jury did not approve the first indictment in the Comey case. She then was supposed to present a second indictment. She never did that. And that was exposed in a court proceeding that just blew up. And it seems like the Comey case is likely going to get dismissed very soon. And Halligan is in deep, deep trouble. She acted like an indictment was signed by a grand jury that they never even saw. I'll be doing deep dives on that, and I'll be speaking with Norm Eisen later in the day. Here's what Donald Trump is posting this morning. He's talking about his UN speech from months ago, and he's reposting like random people saying, so proud of our president. His UN speech was absolutely epic from one issue to the next. Remember that embarrassing UN speech that he gave where people were like laughing at him? Well, he's posting about that this morning. Dozens of, look at this, like dozens of posts about his UN speech. He's also posting photos of himself from that bizarre wall of fame of presidents that he now has in the White House. And I guess he thinks it's, funny, or that he's a troll, that the photo of former President Biden is an auto pen. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. I mean, this is how this guy is spiraling this morning. He also makes a post praising Lindsey Halligan, his former personal attorney turned federal prosecutor with no prosecutorial experience, on the day that that federal judge in Virginia, Judge Nachmanoff, looked at her and said, sit down. I've read the transcript. I see what you did. I can't emphasize enough how unethical, how likely illegal, and her losing her bar license is likely going to be the least of her problems right now. She claimed that there's an indictment of Comey and she never showed it to the grand jury after they rejected the first indictment that she presented. This is unheard of. Also, you thought that, I thought before that in the hearing, the big bombshell was going to be that the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche had instructed the other prosecutors that were now on the Comey case not to release the memo where the former prosecutors who Trump fired from the Eastern District of Virginia said that there was no evidence. These were Republicans. They said there was no evidence to prosecute Comey. And then they were pushed out and fired, and they wrote a memo saying that there's no evidence. And now Trump and Blanche were saying you can't turn over those memos, and the prosecutor admitted that to the judge. I thought that was going to be the big story. Then you find out she never actually presented the indictment and likely made this whole thing up. Wow, wow, wow. Donald Trump's also posting this morning, President of Peace. Trump tapped for Nobel Prize amid talks to end Russia and Ukraine war. Okay, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has accelerated under you. You said you would bring peace on day one. Take a look at Kharkiv last night in Ukraine. This is what it looked like as 25 people were killed, among them 3 children. We're talking about the past 24 hours, and you're bragging about Nobel Peace Prizes. But just think about what a sick and demented and vile human being he is, right? On the day where Lindsey Halligan was exposed with basically a fake indictment of James Comey, never thought I would say those words, he's praising her. And a day where Kharkiv in Ukraine is getting bombed with ballistic missiles and drones, he's talking about a Nobel Peace Prize. He is a sick, sick, sick individual. No wonder his approval is at its lowest ever, the lowest in modern presidential history. He is detested. He is despised. And even Fox had to admit it this morning, where they said a new Reuters poll showed Trump's Trump's approval falling to its lowest level. The funny thing is that the Fox host has to lie because they lie about everything. And they go, his approval is 39% when it says 38% on the screen. They lie about everything. Here, play this clip.
A new Reuters poll shows President Trump's approval rating falling to its lowest level. This is apparently because of prices and the Epstein files. His approval rating sits at 39%. That is down 9 points from when he took office.
Now, we're also hearing from Epstein survivors like Haley Robinson and others how disgusted they are with MAGA Mike Johnson. Haley Robson's a Republican, and she was a prior Trump voter. Here, play this clip.
Republican, you've spoken about that. I wonder what your reaction is to Speaker Johnson saying that this vote was a political show vote by the Democrats.
Well, I was present in the room when they were doing the votes, as well as all the survivors. And I can say the only theatrics I saw was from him. I think some of his comments were on that fine line. This is not a hoax. There is no theater coming from us or the survivors on our end. I'm appalled by him in general, and I've lost a lot of respect by him. Just the back and forth with Adelita Grojalva. You will never convince me.
She was a deciding vote at the time for the petition. That's why you said that. Okay.
Yes. And you will never convince me that shutting down the government for 50 days, and in those 50 days was when we needed them the most. And in those 50 days, we don't know what happened. We just know that you wouldn't swear in Adelita Grojalva. And I'm sure there was more pressing issues and policies that came to light in that decision making. But this has been an issue that has been very important to the American people and something that he campaigned on. And when you have a policy or procedures that need to be done for the American people, I feel it's in America's best interest and the people's best interest if you follow through and get things done instead of just closing off. Surely they are the adults. Surely they can figure it out.
And here she is as well, saying that she's like, who owns Donald Trump now? And how did he get like this? I hate to break it to you. He's always been like this. He is a con artist, a fraud, a criminal. He's someone who's been found liable for sexual abuse. He was Epstein's friend. I mean, what do you anyway, play this clip.
If I could sit down with President Trump, it would be to look at him and say, where did we go wrong? Who owns you? What happened from last year to now? What event or what person or what influence changed the fact that you campaigned in 2024 on releasing the Epstein files? And how do we get back to the person I voted for and put in office? Because I feel extremely betrayed.
I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network, here to tell you we are supported by MS Now. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union. These words are more than just the opening of the Constitution. They're a reminder of who this country belongs to and what we can be at our best. They're also the cornerstone of MS Now, whether it's breaking news, exclusive reporting, election coverage, or in-depth analysis. MS Now keeps the people at the heart of everything they do. Home to the Rachel Maddow Show, The Briefing with Jen Psaki, Deadline White House with Nicole Wallace, and more voices you know and trust. MS Now is your source for news, opinion, and the world. Their name is new, but you'll find the same commitment to justice, progress, and the truth you've relied on for decades. Same mission, new name, MS Now. Learn more at ms.now. That's ms.now. So what is Donald Trump doing this morning as his regime is collapsing? Grift, 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 because this is all about enriching himself as the American people suffer. Here was Donald Trump speaking at the Kennedy Center in a big meeting he's doing for the Saudis, where he says, we're going to be selling Saudi Arabia our greatest military equipment and technology. And who cares about those pesky approvals? We'll give it to them in 24 hours. Right, Elon? Right, Elon? Elon? Here, play this clip.
That you're in. And we're going to be selling Saudi Arabia some of the greatest military equipment ever built. We build the best military equipment in the world by far. That's why we do the most business, including nearly 300 American-made tanks is what you're buying, among many other things, the airplanes. And we're working on getting that approved very quickly. It's already approved, but don't worry. We have to go through a process. The process will take, Elon knows, the process will take about, would you say 24 hours? I think so. You're in good shape, very good shape. The partnership between our...
So it should also be noted that Donald Trump's personal organization, the Trump Organization, is doing deals, $63 billion deals, or they're getting involved in $63 billion real estate deals with the Saudis in the Middle East, a Trump Organization project in the Maldives with the Saudis. Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, received $2 billion, $3 billion from the Saudis for his hedge fund. I mean, the Trumps are in business with the private investment fund, the PIF. They also do all these events at Trump golf courses, but Trump's in business with the PIF, the private investment fund, and DAR, D-A-R, that's the real estate fund of the Saudis. And Trump's selling them our technology, which will find its way to China and Iran and Russia and create massive, massive problems in terms of international security and throughout the rest of the world. Should also be noted, a new poll from Marist this morning shows that Democrats currently have a 14-point lead against Republicans on the 2026 generic ballot. When last asked in November 2024, it was 48 to 48%. Among independents, Democrats have a plus 33-point advantage over Republicans. And as California Governor Gavin Newsom would say to Donald Trump, you're the piggy. Quiet, piggy, Donald. You're the pig who is destroying the United States of America right now. Absolutely abhorrent behavior. I'll just share this with you as well. Jen Psaki asked some of the Epstein survivors if you believe that there was that Trump was aware of the arrangement at Mar-a-Lago. Listen to the answer that she gave here. Play this clip.
Trump, but because Donald Trump is a person who, of course, owns Mar-a-Lago, I just have to ask if you think he was aware of that arrangement.
I don't know if he was aware. Actually, I can't answer that. I'm sorry.
You were in your teens. Yeah. And I think this is important for people to understand that people were in their teens and were young, and you were a young model, and you were handled by a predator.
There you have it, folks. We'll keep you posted every step of the way, as always, on the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.